In the upcoming weeks, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, will be eligible to sign pretty much a 3-year, $173 million extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. In a recent piece, though, with the New York Times, it does not appear that Giannis will be signing that deal with Milwaukee just yet. He said the real question is not going to be this year. Number-wise, it just doesn't make sense. But next year, next summer, will make more sense for both parties. Even then, I don't know if I'm going to sign it. I will not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everybody's on the same page, everybody's going for a championship, everybody's going to sacrifice time away from their family like I do. And if I don't feel that, I'm not signing. So I thought that was a very interesting comment from Giannis. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with Giannis, right? Over the years, obviously, as the brother has become more acclimated to American culture, we've heard his vernacular and his interviews get better and better, right? Giannis sometimes is almost a little too honest in interviews, and it's not like, I appreciate the honesty, let me be clear about that, but oftentimes over the years, I think Giannis has been a little more aggressive than we're accustomed to the typical NBA American-born star being in interviews, especially when they pertain to teammates, coaches. Giannis is pretty much a straight shooter. I appreciate what Giannis is saying because as a fan of the game of basketball, before anything else, it tells me that this dude is not standing by them comments that he made a few months ago when he was talking about failure. After the Bucks got eliminated by the Heat in the first round, he was like, yo, there's no failure in sports and all that junk and jargon that I just didn't believe for one bit. And I didn't believe Giannis believed it for one bit. That dude's become one of my favorite players for a reason. I went to LA last year and I saw Giannis back-to-back nights. I went to a Lakers game and I went to a Clippers game. And mind you, LeBron didn't play in the game that I went to with the Lakers, and Kawhi didn't play in the game that I went to with the Clippers. You know who was there both nights? It was Giannis. And that's why he's been my favorite athlete to come around over the last 7-8 years, because he's been there. And I know he's committed to the game. And part of that commitment is I know he wants to win. Giannis is in an interesting position with Milwaukee, though. Nobody can say the Bucks have not tried to compete at a top-tier level for Giannis during this stretch. Nobody can say that. When I read Giannis's comments in that article, though, to me it sounds like he's calling out people, meaning players. And I'm not going to go point fingers, but Giannis has 2 co-stars on that Milwaukee Bucks team. And Chris Middleton, who has been injured more times than not. Keep in mind, Giannis is a teammate of Chris. And though Middleton looks the part, if there are any flaws in Middleton's preparation to the game of basketball with those reoccurring knee injuries that he's had over the last couple years, obviously Giannis would know. I'm not saying that there is, I'm just saying he would know. When I hear Giannis say comments like, yo, I got to make sure everybody else committed, to me, that you could take that as, yo, I got to make sure Chris Middleton's going to get back to the guy that I had a couple years ago when we were raising that trophy up in Milwaukee in Game 6. Drew Holiday has been on the record of saying that he doesn't plan on playing past his contract. Now, obviously, that could be a negotiation ploy. Drew Holiday is one of my favorite point guards to watch in the league as of right now. His defense, possession in, possession out, how he's able to use his body to kind of get a little nudge on guys trying to make plays on him, it's some of the best defense you'll ever see in your life. I just find it hard to believe that dude's going to walk away from the game in the next year or so. He's been on record of saying that once his contract is up, though, he's leaving. I'm sure Giannis is looking around like, yo, am I getting a Drew Holiday that is playing at the end of his career, or a guy that's planning to make another 2-3 year run at this thing like Giannis is obviously planning on? So when I hear Giannis say, yo, I've got to make sure everybody's committed, yes, I'm sure he's talking about the organization. If you follow this platform for a long time, y'all know one of my critiques with Milwaukee has been they don't have enough dogs in the building. That's been my only thing, is I felt like that Bucks organization has been very safe with the players that they put around Giannis. You don't see no J.R. Smiths, no Iman Shumpers. I'm talking about the guys that could potentially help you win a Game 4 against the Miami Heat in the playoffs, but oftentimes you don't know what the hell they doing at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. They could be somewhere in New York partying with Rihanna before a game. I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm just saying, sometimes those guys also have value in the league. Do you want 12 J.R. Smiths on your team? No. But I'm for damn sure certain that LeBron was happy that he had J.R. Smith in that 2016 season. Right, like that's just the reality of it. And again, the Bucks have shown me a lot of commitment. The moment they went out and got Drew Holiday, that was commitment. Going and putting a second star around Giannis. Obviously, Chris Middleton has worked very hard on this game to kind of make himself into a star. They didn't know what they were getting when they got Middleton from Detroit. But going and grabbing Drew Holiday was that paid off. That was a difference maker. He outplayed Chris Paul in the finals, and that helped the Bucks get their championship. It was all worth it if nothing else valuable comes out of it. So I'm not going to say Milwaukee, as a smaller to mid-market franchise, they haven't invested and tried to make sure Giannis has had elite talent at the top. I just believe around the roster, look, I think having a Pat Connaughton on the roster is fine. I liked when Grayson Allen was there. But some of these players that they got around, the Greek Freak, Wesley Matthews, these are safe players, guys with really good reputations around the league. But oftentimes you do need a dog or two on the team too. I'm sorry, you just do. You need a balance of both. Yes, I love Pat Connaughton. Would love to have him on any squad that I got. I also need a dog though. I love Brook Lopez. He had a really good year last year. But damn, you telling me that the Milwaukee Bucks couldn't benefit from maybe having a guy like Dwight on the squad? Giannis misses about 10 games a year, 10 to 12 games a year. That'd be nice to have a Dwight down low to kind of keep your offense somewhat similar. Dwight can still be that. There are guys around the league that come with a little bit of baggage sometimes that I believe Milwaukee could bring in that organization that can help them get back to the promised land. And Giannis is keeping his options open. And the last thing I want to say before I get up out of here, thank you if you got to this point in the video. You really rock with your boy. One of the things we got to realize with the NBA, that this is not the NFL. The NFL will move on from you in a heartbeat. These running backs are going out here, going over 200 carries. And these franchises are telling them, yo, I'm not giving you another contract. And if I'm going to give you one, it ain't going to be over 10 million. The NBA is different. There are no more Giannis's. There are no more Jokic's. There are no more Embiid's. And there for damn sure ain't no more LeBron's or Durant's. In the NBA, the stars have all the leverage. I always go back to Kevin Durant and Brooklyn. Keep in mind, Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in the finals. And he was about 30, 31 when he tore it. So he wasn't just the youngest chicken in the coop either, right? He goes and gets a max deal with the Brooklyn Nets, and they knew he'd be out for at least the next year. By the way, it never ended up winning it with Brooklyn. But the Nets were committed to giving him every cent of money that they had to offer because there are no more Kevin Durant's, and just the potential of playing with having a guy like that in your organization in the NBA is worth it. Knock on wood, if Giannis tore his ACL, his MCL, his PCL, if he had Tommy John surgery tomorrow, there's not a team in the league that would not open up a max cap spot for Giannis if he was a free agent tomorrow. It doesn't matter. You don't have to sign early in the NBA. There's no benefit for Giannis to re-up with Milwaukee. He can play that thing down to the day of free agency, get the most money possible when he is free, because Milwaukee's going to pay it today, tomorrow, and the next day. The Bucks can't afford to lose Giannis. The moment they lose Giannis, that organization loses all its cachet. Businesses all around that area lose value. It's Milwaukee. Damn, ain't nobody clamoring to be in Milwaukee like that. Shout out to Milwaukee, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, you got to have him, which means he can keep his options open to literally the clock strikes midnight.